Welcome back, world, to the Verbal Intercourse Podcast. Got your host, Nick Walker, back in the building today. Shout out to everybody that's been listening, supporting the podcast, subscribing to it on YouTube. Everybody go subscribe to my YouTube page, Nick Walker's Verbal Intercourse. Today, got a very special guest in the building. Shout out to Mr. James Lott, Alderman of Clinton. Good to have you on my podcast today, brother. It's going to be great to chop it up with you. How you feeling today?
Oh, man, glad to be here. It's a good hot day in Mississippi.
Man, dog, I'm sweating over here right now, man. And the thing is, it's like I ain't nervous or nothing. It's just that it's just hot.
Man, it's the heat of it, August.
Yeah, bruh. Yeah, bruh. And you know, you as a politician on the scene right now, you got to be basically shirt and tie or shirt and jacket some every day. So
it's really shirt and tie. I cheated today. I took my tie off. I actually had a tie on earlier, but it was I got tired. I took my dress shoes off. So I got my sandals on.
Yeah. I feel you chilling. So yeah, bro, let's get right on into it, man. Got election day coming up. Let's backtrack a little bit. How did you even get to where you are today as alderman and running for office for District 4? So tell me a little bit how you got there.
All right, so and I don't want it to sound cheesy, but my first time I remember voting was for Barack Obama, 2008. And that for me, that was I didn't have an interest then to be into politics, but I saw a black man, articulate, well-dressed. He could work a room, got along with everybody, and that just put the image in my head. And then fast forward 2013, 14, watching the news, see some of the local politicians in Jackson. Shout out to Mr. Kenny Stokes. Watching some of his interviews, hearing some of the stuff he said, it just made me think, okay, I could do that. That's what. That's all. That's what they do. They, talk like that. So I started looking into it more. What are requirements? And it's easy. I mean, you just have to be a registered voter and live in the area you want to run for. So I started in the background getting involved with some of the stuff in Clinton, volunteering organizations to learn the political landscape. And then when it was time, 2019, 2020, I started to tell people I was interested in running. So I ran in 2021.
Oh, that's dope, man. So, you kind of mentioned a little bit about how Barack Obama getting elected into office kind of inspired you. Do you remember where you were that night in '08? Because I vividly remember my experience, you know what I'm saying? I was on Jackson State campus, and I think I've never seen nothing like that. Like, everybody flooded the plaza, everybody flooded outside, people crying, people playing My President is Black, like, by Jeezy. Cars riding through, everybody shouting, hugging. I just had never, it's something that I never forget. So talk to me a little bit about, do you remember that night when he was elected?
For sure. I was at Jackson State too, and I think, was that Inspiration?
Nah, that was Recession.
Recession, yeah. Recession, that was 08, because Recession came out. Yeah, that was fall 08. That Kanye West graduation came out.
Yep. Yeah, that was a great year for music. Yeah.
I was at Jack State campus. I remember I had an Impala with 215s in the back.
Oh yeah.
I was riding down Lynch Street just like everybody else playing My President. I probably did that for like a week straight.
Everybody was. It was just like crazy.
Because I never thought that it could happen. And I still don't understand how it happened. I understand, but even looking around at the climate
now,
I still don't understand how.
I think the climate now is just a result of that happening, which it is what it is now. We here now, so yeah, man. Let's change lanes for a little bit. Running for District 4 supervisor. Talk to me a little bit about what areas are District 4 and what are your policies? What do you stand on? What are you trying to do for that district?
All right, so District 4 includes Clinton, Raymond, Bolton, Byram, and South Jackson. The parts of South Jackson, more so the Forest Hill area, back toward Byram. For me, I'm running on there's 4 ways. Well, number one, Hinds County has been losing tremendously to Rankin County and Madison County. We're the biggest county in the state as far as population. We have the most revenue coming in the state, but yet we don't have some of the securities and amenities that the rest of the state or the flourishing counties have. So being in government, I learned that in order to have a viable community, you got to provide basic necessities of the government: public safety, a quality infrastructure, beautification, and economic development. So for me, public safety, what that looks like, we got to build a new jail. We got to build a new jail, get it out of Raymond, find the money to build a new jail in Jackson, so we can keep those who are who've been convicted of violent crimes, keep them safely away, so to keep them safe and keep the citizens safe. Because everybody been, you know it. I mean, people been escaping from Raymond Detention Center left and right. So, but it's because it's old, dilapidated. The building is run down, and a product of the building being run down, staff don't want to work there. So once you get a new building, you have people feeling more comfortable working there. Then you can start paying good people. We got to clean up Hinds County, make it look beautiful. We got to fix the roads and the bridges and come up with plans, an economic development plan to keep people in Hinds County and to attract business and more people to Hinds County. So all those together can help fix a community, because it's not reinventing the wheel. You know, government has been around since the beginning of time, and you look across the United States, you see what municipalities and areas that do well, you see what they do, how their policies are, and the ones who don't do well, their policies typically the same. So we just got to get some good elected people in there to make some good decisions. That's all it is.
Yeah, because it's like, when we think about Hinds County politicians right now, it's been kind of like, I don't know, who can we take seriously? Cause it's done got to the point where I ride around the city, I see, I just see it being dirty, a lot of abandoned buildings, a lot of businesses that have closed down, boarded up, highways trashy. It's just, it seems like the city done kind of lost its way a little bit on how it looks, as well as Jackson, for sure, the crime, the areas and stuff like that. It's just one of them things to where, when you tell people you from Jackson now, they out, first thing they talk about, crime, how it look. So, talk to me a little bit about how like you affect change, and do you have a team that's going to kind of help you with that?
So I don't necessarily have a team formed. If I become supervisor, I get the opportunity to hire 3 people as special projects officers. A supervisor is part-time position, but the special projects officers are full-time. So they are the ones who go out in the county, check out the roads, bridges, constituent services. When people call or have an issue, they go check on it. But even further than that, is more so, hopefully we get a good batch of supervisors in that can work together. That's really the team that can affect change, and we got to get some people with more progressive or some more youth in their thinking. And we talked about Martin Luther King being 36 years old. This the age range. I'm 33, so this is the age range where our generation need to be getting active. We need to get registered to vote. We need to look at what's going on, the stuff we complain about. It's easy to fix it if all you have to do is run for the office, and once you get in the office, vote whether to allocate money toward fixing the street or allocate money toward putting into a park. So that's I think if I would plead for people my age to get more involved, and hopefully we can see a wave of people running. 2025 is the next election for the city of Jackson. Hopefully people fed up of the trash, they fed up of the water issues, and they put their name in the hat, because we got some goofy people representing us in different parts of the state. So the easy fix is to get them out.
Yeah. I think a lot of our age group, I mean, we talk about this year in and year out, how important local elections is. We talk about it, and I feel like the people that talk about it on social media or in the public, of course they the ones that's voting, and the people that's following them probably voting too, because they probably run with similar like people. But it's like a bunch of people that are registered to vote and don't exercise their right. So as a part of like your campaign, how have you been able to kind of, push out there, everybody get out there and vote, get out there and vote, because the local elections are the ones that directly affect you, not just the presidential election, not just, running, not just the senators and all that type of stuff. It's them local districts that really affect you. So talk to me a little bit about that.
So I'm gonna go back to our generation. We at the age where people our age are settling down, buying houses, starting families, having kids. So a lot of the issues that we didn't pay attention to before are starting to directly affect us because we either renting a home or we buying a home and we paying bills. So I think a lot of the issues that we have also stem from a lot of our elected officials a little older. So when I've been going out knocking on doors, I'm standing on the corners talking to people, they're excited in my youth. They say, man, I'm glad we need some young people. And these are older people saying this. People 50 and 60 years older saying we need some young people involved. I'm glad to see you running. And then when I talk to younger people and people my age, they are equally excited. Man, how old are you? You by my age, you can do that? And most of the time they didn't know. So people of my age don't know that younger people are trying to get involved, and then when they do see it, they get excited because they see you can see yourself. So for me, just being visible, I try to put my face on everything. So to set myself apart from the other candidates, because everybody else that I'm running against is, and not even just me in the other races, all the other candidates, roughly, I say the average age might be 50 to 60 years old per candidate.
Yeah, so they kind of out of touch with this millennium base, and we done got to that age where, just like you said, we buying houses, we having children, we want better jobs, better paying wages, we want clean streets, we want streets that actually don't have the biggest potholes in them. So we definitely at that age, and I think a lot of people need to take it more seriously. It's kind of messed up because you told me your district has how many registered voters?
30,000.
30,000. How many actually voted in the last election?
A little over 8,000.
A little over 8,000. That's crazy. That's 22,000 people that's just not being heard from, and these elections are serious. So yeah, man. So yeah, I hope more people get out there and vote, especially the millennials, because it's directly affecting us on a day-to-day basis.
And again, I think, and I'm not a political strategist, I think the way we get them involved, same as the Barack effect. For me, seeing Barack made me, okay, maybe I could do that. Because at that time, he was still fairly young too.
He was young, yep.
So I think anytime you bring youthfulness, it brings a different type of energy, a different type of perspective, and people can, especially us being in technology, we see it and we're visual, and so we'll respond to seeing somebody looking young or just not looking as old.
Yeah, because I mean, for instance, you look at the national government, and with student loans and how high everything is, the inflation in the U.S. and stuff like that, they are like completely out of touch with they either don't care or they completely out of touch. And like I said, like you said, man, I think it's amazing to have youth up in there because even though you 33, I'm 34, we kind of feel like we're getting up there in age, but in the politics, you a real young man. And so let me ask you this: now that you're in politics and that you're young, do you feel like some of the older politicians kind of shun you a little bit because of your youth, or is it harder to kind of get in that crowd to where, hey, I can talk to this guy, get something done, this, that, and the other?
So I've gotten a little bit of both. I've had some of them pull me to the side and say, hey, I'm gonna show you how this done, or do this, don't do that, or don't talk to these type of people, or this is how you handle business. And I've had some who just if I make comments, and this is not necessarily just in Clinton, but peers across the state, because we do elected official conferences. But some of them, blow off some of the recommendations that I may have just because of my youth or lack of experience. So I get a little mixture of both. But I feel that, so my elected position is part-time. So I've been working my whole adult life. And so I think it's the same when you go to any other business. I'm gonna use like Nissan for example. You know, you might start off young and a lot of old heads in there. You the youngest one in there, so a lot of times they might not take on to you as quickly. You might have some social challenges. You can't hold a conversation with them because you can, but you don't have as much.
Yeah, I might not connect. Yeah,
so you don't connect, and your jokes don't hit like like they do with your friends outside of work. So there's some barriers there, but for the most part, they are human. So you got your mannequin that you see as an elected official or as a personality, and then you got the part that most people don't see. So there's a lot of them who are genuine, and like I said, they're human.
Yeah, so that's definitely understandable. I've also, I think I read an article a couple years ago that said Mississippi had like the most corrupt political system basically out of all the states. Talk to me a little bit about how important it is to run like a clean campaign, how to, have a great image, great background. Talk to me a little bit about how important it is because, you're a young candidate and millennials, they love to, kick up dirt on what we was doing as a teenager, how we hang out in our own personal time, how we distress, stuff like that. So talk to me a little bit about that.
So for me, I've been in this position for 2 years, going on my third year. And leading up to it, I knew I wanted to run. So some of the things that I did, I had to clean up my Facebook, clean up my social media. That was the first thing. Before I even got there, clean up social media, anything that may have been out there. Not necessarily bad, but that people are voters and people are fickle. So if they see you, out with some jeans with holes in them, people will have some negative say, I don't want to vote for him because he wear holes in his jeans. So you got to pay attention to stuff like that. I still have to be able to maintain a life. I'll be the first one to go out of town, have a good time, even here locally, go to some of the lounges. So I do that, but especially since the campaign, I had to slow down on that because I didn't want – because people take a look. I mean,
people see you out. Exactly, with the mayor.
He in Atlanta at the Jackson State football game.
And it's a water crisis.
Yeah. So you got to be careful with that kind of stuff. And again, I tell you, I said this before, they're human, so elected officials got to have personal lives also. But
no doubt.
You up front like that, people watch everything you do. So you just have to be careful about who you around, who take pictures with you, or – what you do, or if you have vices or some of the stuff you do, just do it at your home. Don't do it out in public.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Because it's so petty because everybody human. They unwind in different ways. But you put that microscope on you when you trying to get into those offices and stuff like that.
Man, and even I just took a step in Hines County politics. I mean, even when you are having opponents. And like I told you, I'm the youngest one. I've seen these opponents, a lot of them, uncles, aunts, grandparents age. So, mudslinging, stealing signs, cutting them up, cutting the face off, saying stuff, making posts on Facebook, talking about people's family. You see all of it. But I try, ain't no try, I do. I try to stay above that. So I don't respond. If some of the opponents have said something or something negative, I don't respond to it, don't put any light on it. I think when you keep that professionalism, people pay attention to that. They pay attention to the person who did the mudslinging, and then they pay attention to how the other person responded. So, and that's the issue that we have in our politics. You watch a Hines County board meeting, man, they fighting, yelling, cussing.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, so when we love to watch it.
Yeah, it's funny for social media.
But we don't want it representing us to handle business. So when you got somebody, an elected official who doing that, it makes us look bad to other places and other areas. So your image is everything. So
yeah, no doubt, man. Hey, man, it's been great having you on the podcast, man. One last question before we get off. Where do you see yourself going in this political realm as far as like you know, we gonna speak into that environment, into the atmosphere that you gonna win on Tuesday. You know, I expect to see you on WLBT celebrating with you know, cameras or whatever. So yeah, man, congratulations for even getting this far, because I think that's very important for our age group especially, and for somebody that's having a positive impact on the community at your age. So yeah, shout out to you, brother. But where you see yourself going?
So this position, supervisor, I honestly didn't see myself running for this. I had some constituents push me to do it earlier. I saw myself just gradually growing. I spent 4 years of alderman, maybe going to supervisor, maybe state representative, but I kind of got pushed into this race. So it's still fresh. Long term, I would love to be a state senator.
That'll be good
for the state of Mississippi.
Yeah.
Represent Mississippi in Washington. We never had a African American senator, Democrat, here in this era. So I want to be able to do that. You know, right now we have Benny Thompson is the only minority we have representing us in Congress. But I want to. I would like to be in the U.S. Senate.
Okay.
I think that's, if I had to have a goal, that would be it.
Okay. Man, that's great, bro. Like I ain't never even, I work in healthcare. I ain't never even thought about running for nothing. But yeah, bro, man, more power to you, man. It's been great having you on the podcast. Man, shout out to Alderman James Lott, man. And we out. Peace.
All right.